What's up guys and welcome back! In today's video we will be checking out on how to build this ultimate $1700 PC that can game, live stream and handle content creation easy. As well as we will be testing this monster in 1440p and 4K resolutions in 9 games and a few 3D Mark benchmarks. But before we get into it, a quick word from today's sponsor. VIPSEDKey.com has amazing deals on game keys from such platforms as Steam, Origin or Uplay. And more importantly, you can get a low-cost Windows 10 Pro license key and get rid of that watermark on your screen forever. And I even have an additional 15% code for you guys. You can use a link from a description below or type Windows 10 Pro OEM in a search bar. Click buy now and apply promo code SKEGT. That's right, you will get a 15% discount from Windows 10 key price. Submit your order and you will be able to choose from a variety of payment options here. Just use the one you like and that's it. You are free from that Windows 10 watermark forever. This is one of a few high-end PCs I've built on my channel. So I will walk through all the parts I chose for this build. You will be able to enjoy PC build time-lapse. And of course we will check it out on how PC performs in different games and benchmarks. And if you are new here and want to check other PC build videos similar to this one, then hit a subscribe button and also a notification bell and you will never miss upcoming videos. So let's start with a processor, which is a 3rd gen Ryzen 7 3700X. It's an 8-core and 12-thread CPU that is capable of a boost clock up to 4.4 GHz. While some modern games start to utilize 8 cores already, in most cases 6-core CPU is enough for gaming. But those additional 2 cores will definitely help you out when using it for a content creation or streaming your gaming sessions. It comes with a quite nice looking Wraith Prism cooler that features some RGB lighting and is capable of cooling 8-core CPU. 3700X is an unlocked processor, just like all of the Ryzen lineup, meaning you can overclock it if you wish to. But in that case, I suggest getting a better air or liquid IO cooler solution. Moving forward, we have the best all-around motherboard from MSI, B450 Tomahawk Max. It's the best value performance motherboard you can get, even though it's not an X570 chipset board that is significantly more expensive. Tomahawk got super good reviews from many known tech YouTubers and tech blogs. It has no probs handling Ryzen 7 3700X or even Ryzen 9 3900X. In case you decide to upgrade your CPU later on. Tomahawk is an ATX form factor motherboard, so in case you want a smaller M-ATX best value and price performance motherboard, I suggest looking into MSI B450 motor, that is basically the same board just in smaller form factor and is even a bit cheaper. Since Ryzen loves high-speed RAM, I've got 16GB kit of HyperX Fury clocked at 3600 MHz. 16GB is definitely enough for gaming and streaming, but in case you are really serious in content creation workloads, you might consider getting 32GB kit or a few 16GB kits. Next we have storage, and we will be using Crucial P1 1TB NVMe SSD. It will be our main drive for Windows OS and for frequently played games. This is one of the best value for the money options at the moment. P1 provides really nice speed bump over the traditional SATA SSD at pretty much the same price. While 1TB could seem a lot, we will be also using 2TB 7200 RPM Seagate Barracuda mechanical drive. It will provide additional storage for your games, videos or any additional files you might want to store in your PC. For the graphics card, I've got Palit RTX 2080 Super GameRock Premium Edition. It was one of the most insane deals since the sale price for this one was around $600 US. Anyway, it's the second fastest GPU you could get, and it definitely has no probs running games at 1440p high refresh rate or 4K high details gaming. As well as you can utilize its CUDA cores in video content creation software like DaVinci Resolve, and it will speed up your work process dramatically. Since there is no other competitor at this performance range, there is no alternative except its bigger brother RTX 2080 Ti, and Big Navi from AMD side will probably show up just at the end of 2020. And we get to the power supply. Initially I was planning to go for the Be Quiet Straight Power 11 power supply, but it was out of stock like many other power supplies at this time. But Corsair PSUs appear to be relatively available, and so I've got Corsair RM750X. This is really one of the best power supplies with a gold certificate. 750 watts is just where we want to be with a similar build, and it has a bit of a headroom for any future upgrades you might have. We have a similar situation with PC cases, and lots of them are just out of stock, and so we ended up by getting Masterbox MB520 RGB model from a Cooler Master. It's quite a nice looking case with a tempered glass side panel and included RGB fans at the front. It's really nice case for its price, and I'm planning to make a separate unboxing video where I will present pros and cons of this case. And so when it will be ready I will link it at the top right corner. Even though our case has a few RGB fans, I've decided to add a few more since it looks way better. So I've removed a non-RGB rear fan and used 3 additional Deepcool RF120M fans. They are really nice looking ones, as well as they cost like 2 times less than, let's say, Corsair fans. So this is how a full part list looks like, and we sit just below $1700 US. Even though I mentioned I've got RTX 2080 Super for an insane deal, I've included the regular prices here, just for you guys to have a better picture on regular prices at the time I was filming this video. And you will find all the parts linked in the description below. Alright, it's time to build this beast. Nice, I really enjoyed building this particular PC. I had some challenges regarding RGB control and all of that, but eventually it's done. Alright, let's jump into the benchmarks. First up we have a few 3D Mark benchmarks. Firestrike, which is using DirectX 11, and a bit more demanding TimeSpy running on DirectX 12. Let's dive into some game benchmarks. I've tested this PC build in 1440p and 4K resolutions, and used ultra presets or highest settings available in each game. Let's start with some esports battle royale titles first. The first up we have Apex Legends, and in 1440p we got an average of 113 frames per second, while in 4K around 73 FPS on average. Next up we have Fortnite, and in 1440p it was running at 104 FPS on average, and in 4K it was falling below 60 FPS bar. But it was definitely okay, and having in mind it's on epic settings, you can get much more FPS using a high or medium preset. War Thunder is another battle royale game, and using movie settings in 1440p benchmark I've got a solid average FPS of 200, and in 4K 123 FPS on average. CSGO is the least demanding esports title, and that reflects in FPS. This time I've used a special benchmarking map to evaluate game performance, and in 1440p CSGO was running over 340 FPS on average. Even in 4K we got an average of 223 frames per second. Following that was GTA 5, and in 1440p in-game benchmark I've got 130 FPS on average and 72 FPS in 4K. The Division 2 is definitely more of a demanding title, especially for a video card side. And so in 1440p ultra settings it had no props, and benchmark was running at 76 FPS on average, while in 4K it was struggling to maintain 60 FPS and gave us 43 FPS on average. And so you would need to step down your settings to high-medium range to maintain over 60 FPS in 4K. The most demanding game I've tested was Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Even in 1440p using ultra high settings, in-game benchmark average FPS fallen below 60, and in 4K it was around 39 FPS on average. Basically you do not need 60 FPS to play this game, but you could definitely use high settings instead and gain more frames here. Next up we have Shadow of the Tomb Raider. In 1440p we got 93 FPS on average, and in 4K 51 FPS on average, which is okay having in mind I was using the highest settings. And the last title I've tested was Far Cry New Dawn. The numbers are really nice here, and so in 1440p we got an average of 94 frames per second, and in 4K benchmark was running at 60 FPS on average. Alright, so there you have it, all the parts I've used and benchmarks for this gaming and streaming PC build. Sure, it's more of a premium side PC build, and for a 1440p gaming only, you could get the Ryzen 5 3600 and RTX 2070 Super, but in case you want to play games in 4K and stream your sessions, those additional 2 cores on a Ryzen 7 and extra performance on RTX 2080 Super will last you longer, especially when new games are getting more and more demanding. That's it for today's PC build video, and in case you want to build a similar PC, you will find links in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this build, do not forget to like it and subscribe, since you will help to bring even more builds to this channel. And see you soon!